The fifth meeting of the House Standing Committee on Economic Development and Workforce Investment. As we get rolling here this morning, I want to remind everyone, please silence your phones. If you are testifying, make sure that your green light is on when you step to the table and pull the mic up. As a reminder, no signs are permitted in the committee rooms. If any member has a question or comment, please signal to Janine or Sasha. Does any member have any guests that they want to recognize? All right, seeing none, Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Representative Bauman.
Present.
Representative Bratcher. Representative Callaway.
Present.
Representative Camuel.
Here.
Representative Duval.
Here.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
Here.
Representative Jackson.
Present.
Representative King.
Present.
Representative Kulkarni.
Sorry, Steve.
Representative Lawrence. Representative Lockett.
Here.
Representative Pratt.
Present.
Representative Sharp. Present. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt. Representative Huff.
Here.
Chairman Branscombe.
Here. We do have quorum and duly constituted to do business. First up on the agenda today is HCR 104. Representative Duval, if you can make your way to the table. Representative, you'll state your name for the record, and the floor is yours.
Robert Duvall, State Representative, District 17, Warren County. Good morning, Chairman Branscombe and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity to present today on a topic that has far-reaching implications for the Commonwealth. House Concurrent Resolution 104 proposes to create a task force to study worker participation in Kentucky and to identify solutions to support workforce growth. First, the definition of workforce participation rate is the portion of the adult population age 16 and older that is either employed or unemployed but seeking work opportunities. Kentucky has consistently been in the bottom 10 states in workforce participation. Our rate has steadily declined since 2000 when it was 63.5%. By March of 2020, it had declined to 59.2%, and now it stands at 56.9%. This means that over 1.5 million Kentucky adults aren't working who could be. We need to demonstrate a strong workforce, which is when employers can find workers to meet the demands of customers and grow their businesses. Workforce participation rate ranks as one of the top factors in business location, relocation, and expansion. A poor rate holds back economic growth and productivity. It discourages investments and puts a strain on government finances.
We have a motion on the bill. Who was the motion? Representative Gentry. Oh, Representative Ballman, and second, all right, Representative Lockett. Is there any discussion? Representative Gentry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Ballman, for bringing this. Can you explain to me if there's a difference or what the difference is in Representative Kulkarni's resolution that came through? I don't know if you're familiar with that on workforce.
I'm actually, Representative Kulkarni came by my office yesterday and we met and talked about that. And there were a few differences in the resolution. One of those, and I was going to get to in a second, and I'll mention it, is I'm really interested in studying the difference in areas of large economic growth versus low economic growth in Kentucky. The workforce participation rates are low in both areas, but the cause and the factors must be different. I think we have to dig into that to see why that is. So that was one of the main differences. We did touch on other things that overlap, such as basically poor health, the opioid crisis, and child care. Those are all factors in poor workforce participation rates.
Follow up, please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that is in Representative Kulkarni's bill that I worked very hard to get in there because she's had this for a couple of years is as she walks in the door, she has target areas in there, some of which you've already mentioned, but
Sure.
There's one thing in her resolution that's not in here, and that is a target area for people with disabilities. What we have in the state of Kentucky, unless I missed it, but
believe
what
it's
we
in
have in the state of Kentucky
It's in there.
okay, great, awesome. I overlooked that. And since I'm saying this, I'll just say this to everybody. I think most of the people on here probably already know this, but we have a very high rate of people with disabilities in the state of Kentucky, and we also have a very high workforce or very low workforce participation rate within that community. So I don't think we can have any kind of study or task force on workforce development without having that as a major component of that. I just wanted to make sure that's in there, so thank you.
Representative Gentry, I agree 100%. We have a wonderful program in Bowling Green called Life Works at WKU that helps young adults to develop skills for coping, for independent living, as well as workforce participation. So I agree 100%.
Great points, Representative Gentry. Thank you for those. Any other member seeking recognition?
I'd like to say one more thing, if that's okay.
Sure.
So I did speak with, or I spoke with President Ryan Quarles of KCTCS, and he contacted me and he offered his full support in terms of this task force and what we can look at over the summer. So,
very good. Any other member? All right, seeing none, Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman. Yes. Representative Bratcher.
Yes.
Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Camuel.
Yes.
Representative Duval.
yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
I'm a yes. Let me explain my vote real quick.
Yes, sir.
Or just a quick comment. Thank you for bringing this, and this is probably the one that'll move forward because I know how things work around here. But I just ask that you continue to consult with Representative Kilcarney. She's very skilled in this area and been working on this for quite a way. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Jackson. Yes, ma'am. Representative King.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Kulkarni.
Yes, briefly explain and
Yes,
also
ma'am.
record my attendance if I may. Thank you for bringing this. We've already had a conversation, and I hope we will continue to work together to make whatever task force moves forward as comprehensive and helpful to all Kentuckians as it can. So I appreciate you this morning.
Absolutely.
Representative Lawrence. Representative Lockett. Yes. Representative Pratt.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt. Chairman Branscombe.
Aye. HCR 104 passes with favorable expression that the same shall pass on the House floor.
Thank you.
Representative, thank you for bringing that today. Next up, we have Senate Bill 140. Senator Wheeler. And members, yesterday on the House floor, I announced to make sure to check your emails. We did have a committee sub, and I spoke with Senator Wheeler on this as well, and he's going to try to go through that for us because it was while we were in session yesterday. So I always try to get the subs out as quick as we can. But Senator, welcome. And if you could state your name for the record, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Philip Wheeler, 31st Senate District.
Motion on the sub.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second on the sub. And Senator, if you don't care, just kind of talk through those since we were.
Sure.
It was yesterday afternoon we got this.
The sub is actually a product that I worked on with the Labor Cabinet. The original Senate Bill 140 apparently had some federal implications that would have possibly gotten our program out of compliance. So the sub you see before you actually brings it into compliance with federal law. I'm not sure, I've talked to many members, but within my district I have had dozens of people who have contacted me who drew unemployment during the COVID pandemic and have been getting repayment notices from the Labor Cabinet saying that they owe, in some cases, tens of thousands, or over $10,000 for unemployment that they were told that they were allowed to draw during the pandemic. So what Senate Bill 140's intention is to give folks that drew that unemployment innocently. Actually, President Stivers even said one of his cousins got one of these. She was a part-time bus driver for the school system and was told she could draw unemployment and got a letter, I think, saying she owed back several $1,000s as well. So what this is, it simply says that if they were given bad advice by the cabinet, or at least were innocently drew this unemployment, it gives them an opportunity to have that overpayment waived. So
Motion on the bill.
Let's first, we got a sub hanging out that we need to get a voice vote on. So we have a motion second on the sub. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Now that would be in order. We have a motion on the bill and a second. Any member seeking recognition? All right, seeing none, Sasha, call the roll.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher. Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Camuel.
Yes.
Representative Duval.
Yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative King.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Kulkarni.
Yes, briefly explain, Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for bringing this legislation. I know I've worked on this. I know Chair Branscombe has worked on this in the past as well. I hope we can finally get this fixed for the Kentuckians facing this issue. Thank you.
Representative Lawrence. Representative Lockett.
Yes.
Representative Pratt.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt. Chairman Branscombe.
Aye. Senate Bill 140 as amended passes with favorable expression. That same shall pass on the floor. Senator.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you for coming.
All right.
Next up is House Bill 739. Representative Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Adam Bowling, State Representative, 87th District.
Charles All, Kentucky Chamber of Commerce.
All right, gentlemen, floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. House Bill 739 supports safer workplaces and gives Kentucky employers a new and optional tool to prevent workplace violence. Similar to laws in states like Indiana and Tennessee, this bill would allow an employer to petition a court for a workplace violence protective order against an individual who has caused or threatened workplace violence. A workplace violence protective order is meant to work alongside or in support of other measures like no trespassing notices or terroristic threatening charges, but can offer employers a stronger and more efficient layer of protection. Workplace violence is a major issue for employers, with 1.3 million reported instances of workplace violence across the country between 2015 and 2019. At least 14 other states have already acted to give employers access to this important tool to help prevent workplace violence. This bill states that the act does not create a duty of care on part of an employer to seek a workplace violence protective order, and that an employer's decision to not seek an order does not constitute an occupational safety or health violation. These provisions are irreversible from the act, meaning if they were ever struck down as invalid, the entire act would be null and void. The intent of this bill, as stated in Section 1, is to make this purely voluntary option for employers, acknowledging that there may be times where an employer would not want to seek this order. Mr. Chairman, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Motion on the bill.
We have a motion and a second. Representative Callaway.
Yes. Thank you for bringing this bill this morning. I always like to support our private businesses and give them the opportunity to decide how they want to run their business. So just one quick question would be, as far as the parameters to which this would allow, for instance, if public property entering into a business, especially if it was, more of an urban area. So where do those boundaries start, and is it specific to their private property only? Just kind of wondering about that. Thank you.
So Section 6, it states that if a court finds by clear and convincing evidence that workplace violence has occurred or may occur again, the court may issue an order of protection restraining the respondent from A, committing further acts of workplace violence, B, threatening the petitioner or an employee of the petitioner while performing the employee's duties in the workplace, or C, I think to go to your point, going to or within a specified distance of the petitioner's workplace as specifically described by the court.
Representative Cole Carney.
Thank you, Chairman. I had a brief question. You mentioned the standard being clear and convincing evidence. I just wanted to understand logistically, does that mean that the petitioner needs to have accumulated evidence? And if so, what kind of evidence? Just on a practical level, how would they meet that standard?
Thank you for the question, Representative Kulkarni. This is a slightly different evidentiary standard that we use for other protective orders, but it is similar to the evidentiary standard that is used in other states with workplace violence protective orders. So it is an elevated evidentiary standard, and we did have conversations with the Administrative Office of the Courts, and folks generally determined that that would be an appropriate standard for this. In terms of the fine-tuned details of that, yes, I do think an employer would have to have established a pretty strong case in order to do this. So this would be a much higher threshold than, say, preponderance of the evidence. But given that, the scope of what's being accomplished here, folks felt that higher evidentiary standard would be necessary.
Representative Elliott.
Good morning, Representative Bowling. It's always good to see my seatmate, even if it's this early. Where would this be filed? Would this be in family court or circuit court, depending on a jurisdiction? I know a lot of these protective orders are typically in family court, and so I just had sort of a logistical question as to whether a circuit court would hear it or a family court would hear it, depending on whether the jurisdiction had those.
It's a concurrent jurisdiction. Yeah.
Any other member? Seeing none, Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher. Yes. Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Camuel.
Yes.
Representative Duval.
Yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
Explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
I'm a yes today because I'm certainly okay with the intent and I understand what's trying to go on. It's a little bit too judiciary for me to understand all the aspects of this. So, but for what little I know about the judiciary aspects of this, I'll be a yes today.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Jackson. Yes, ma'am. Representative King.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Kulkarni.
Yes.
Representative Lawrence. Representative Lockett. Yes. Representative Pratt. Yes. Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt. Chairman Branscombe.
Yes. House Bill 739 passes with favorable expression that the same should pass. Representative, thank you. There being no further business for the committee.